Well, we're live. There we go. Okay, so today, right at the bat, we want to talk about inverse relation. Okay, everything has an opposite. Multiply, divide, add, subtract, right? But with graphing, the inverse of graphing is really easy. All we do is every point x, y, we just change to a point y, x. So what we're going to do is switch them. So there it is. It goes A, B, and it switches it to B, A. Super easy to find an inverse of a point. As an example, if we had the point 3, 5, its inverse is just 5, 3. It's that simple. It really is. Now, if you have a line, and a line is going to have a lot of points, right? Lots of points. Yeah, thank you. That's what I mean. Complete. Yeah. So line's got. There you go. Line has lots of points. Well, so the problem is with a line, you could graph some points on a line, switch them around, and graph the others. So that's kind of what I want to look at real quickly. Okay, so I want to go ahead and shift real quickly to 4. Okay, I want you to go to 4, and I'm going to come back. So if I had, I just want you to watch, if I had a piece of graph paper, and I know that f of x and y are the same thing, right? Okay. And I wanted to graph number 4. Well, I can do that. That's easy, right? That's easy. Okay, this is super easy. We know how to do this. Let me get a different colored pen. All right, how about, sure. So if I wanted to graph x plus 3, I'd start at 3. I'd go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, right? Okay. Here's my line. Since a line is made up of a lot of points, infinite amount of points, right? We could find its inverse also by switching its points around. So for example, this point is the point at 0, 3. Its inverse would be at the point 3, 0, right? Just switch it around, right? That's all I did. This point is at the point 1, 2, 3, negative 3, 0. And its inverse then would be at 0, negative 3, which would be 1, 2, 3, 0, negative 3, which is down there. So I just switch the x, y, 0, 3 to 3, 0, and I switch the negative 3, 0 to 0, negative 3. Pretty easy, isn't it? I can take another point. Why not? So let's take this point here. I'm going to take this point up here. I can take any point, right? Any point. Could draw the line at this point. You guys agree? Probably could. I'll do one more. 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 6, and its inverse would be 6, 3, right? That easy, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3. There's the point. 6, 3. Okay. There's my inverse line. So if we call this one f of x, yeah, thank you. If this one's our fx, because that's our original, okay? That's our original one. And this one is going to be f. We put a little negative 1 up here, because in math that means inverse, okay? Math is a little negative 1 up there, f inverse of x. So that's the symbol for inverse. Right? Now I want to show you one more thing. Every graph and its inverse are always, always, always a reflection over this line. You can see it, okay? You can see how it folds over, right? Every graph and its inverse will always be a reflection onto itself over the line. This line y equals x. So we know that an inverse and its line are always a reflection of the line y equals x. So, you guys have that? Okay, I'm gonna move this out of the way. Okay. So I'm going to go back to Now, number 4. Okay, so one of the things we did with number 4 is we graphed it, right, and do different points. And then what we ended up was with the line. But it would be faster if I could switch all of the x and all of the y's right off the bat. Because the x variable represents all of the values on the line, and the y variable represents all the y values on the line. So let's just do this. I know I'm going to switch x and y, so let's switch them. So I'm going to switch x and y. So I'm going to rewrite this as x equals y plus 3. Okay, that's technically its inverse, but it's not in a very good form. I mean, I always like to solve for y. That is technically its inverse. But a better form of that, let's make sure now we solve for y. That's easy, right? Minus 3, x minus 3 equals y. Or f inverse, because that's the inverse, is equal to my x minus 3. So if that's the case, let's write that down. I'll go back to my graph. I'm going to go back to my graph. This is faster than graphing it. I mean, I took a little bit of time to talk about it, but switching the variables and solving is a lot faster than graphing it. Because what is the equation of this line? What is the equation of this line? You guys know exactly what the equation of this line is. What's the equation of this line?
X minus 3.
Y equals x minus 3, or f inverse of x equals x minus 3. So we could do it by graphing and switch point by point by point. That is one method. Or you could switch all of the points by simply going through and changing the variables, okay? All right, let's bump up to number 1. Let's do something really easy, okay? So here's my input, which these are x values, right? Here's my output, which are y values. Okay, real quickly, find its inverse. Switch the x and y's. That's all you gotta do. Switch the x and y's. So my input becomes my output, and my output becomes my input. So negative 3, negative 1, 0, 1, 3. My y's become my x's becomes my y's, and my y's become my x's. 4, 2, 2, 5, 3. Easy. Okay. How about example 1? Can you do example 1 real quickly? What's its inverse?
4. Oh, wait. What? Oh. What are you talking about?
So here's my points. Here's my
okay.
points. Can you then rewrite these points
Yeah.
into their inverse? Yeah, Josiah.
It would be minus 1, 1, 5,
Yep.
2, negative 2, 4, 8, 6, 9.
Yeah. Easy, right? Right, pretty easy. Okay, I want to do just one more thing with you. And then I think what we can do is look at the computer. Okay, let's move to number 11, okay? All the way down to 11. You like these journals? That's right, Landon. You can take them home. You don't have to leave them here.
I'd rather have
Okay. All right, let's do number 11. Okay, so I'm going to make my XY axis. All right. So let's look at the directions. The directions say graph the function. That's easy. And then graph its inverse, okay? And then come up with the equation, okay? So on 11, let's do the easy thing first. Let's just graph it, right? And I do like to have different colors. Got red. Okay, so let's do the original in black, and I'll do its inverse in red. Okay, so start at 2, right? Up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, right? How am I doing? So far, so good. Now, it's inverse. Well, there's a couple ways to do it. Either way works. I don't care. You could reverse all the points, right? And that will work. Or for me, I'm just going to find the equation of the inverse and graph the equation. Here's what I do. For me, it's faster to say, well, fx and y are the same thing, right? 1/2 x plus 2, right? Okay? There's my original, but instead of f of x, it's y. And then, if I want the inverse, I'm going to switch the variables. So I'm going to go x equals a 1/2 y plus 2. Okay? So that is technically its inverse, but we need to solve for y, so we graph, okay? This is its inverse because I switched the x and y's. But now we need to solve for y. Okay, let's solve for y over there. So I'm going to go, okay, minus 2, minus 2. Yeah, Ellie?
So on these last two ones, it just ended up switching the sign? Or, yeah, it just ends up switching the sign. So can you do that for everything?
Watch, not exactly, because that 1/2. Hang on to that thought. Part of that is correct, right? Part of what she says is correct, because it is an opposite, right? So switching the signs is part of it, but not all of it. So let's go minus 2, and I get an x minus 2 equals a 1/2 y. And here's what makes it different, okay? How do you undo the 1/2? Times everything by 2, right? You guys agree? So I'm going to multiply everything by 2. So I multiply everything by 2. Let me get my red pen. Multiply everything by 2, right? I'm going to get a 2x minus 4 equals y, okay? So now there's the inverse. So I'm going to rewrite as, all right, I'm going to get fancy. So y, I'm going to go f inverse of x, because that's what it's called, is equal to 2x minus 4. Okay, that's the inverse equation, because it says find the inverse of the function, okay? So the direction's way up here for just a second. Say find the inverse of the function, okay? The inverse is this equation. You ready with that? Now let's graph it, okay? So that's easy. Start at negative 4. I'll go down to 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'll go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. And you don't need to put this last, well, you can't see it. You don't need to put this last piece, but I like to throw it in there. And that is this line y equals x. Does it look like it's a reflection over that yellow line? Yeah. Think about a barbecue skewer. Turn the handle right there, and it flips back and forth, doesn't it? Okay, so that is it for inverses. Not too bad. Okay. All right, so let's stop the recording if I can find the thing, and then your assignment should be up, right?